evening, Cambridge, and welcome to Fresh Ideas from Whole Foods Market. So tonight we're going to be talking about cheeses from around the world, featuring our Whole Foods Market Fresh Pond concierge and cheesemonger Edward Humble, and myself, Whole Foods Market Marketing and Community Liaison for all the Cambridge and Somerville locations. So hi Edward, how are you doing tonight?
Hi Matt, good to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's great to have such a professional here tonight with us to learn so much about cheeses. So can you tell us a little bit about what you do at the Fresh Pond store, what your position is, and how you got there?
I've been at the Fresh Pond store from 1995. I first joined as a cheese buyer, and my role today, I'm the concierge and I'm a certified cheese professional. That's a certification granted by the American Cheese Society, which is the authority on cheese, especially cheeses in America.
Okay.
So, you know, my job is very, very interesting, and I wanted to bring to you tonight just a specimen of the products that I deal with, and perhaps give you some insight into how to use these cheeses to the best advantage, and what to pair them with, so you can hold really great dinner parties and tasting sessions.
Well, I got to tell you, that's one of my favorite places to go to when I go to Whole Foods. I make a beeline right to the specialty department.
Good.
Yeah, and the Fresh Pond specialty department, always fun to go there. So yeah, can you just let us know, what do you have in store for us today? What are we going to talk about?
Well, I'm going to tell you about the attributes of cheese. Then we're going to talk about 3 particular cheeses that I brought along. The theme is cheeses from around the world, so I've chosen cheeses from 3 countries, including America. And then I want to show you how to create an after-meal cheese plate, and then last of all how to store cheese. So just give you a background, so take away some of the fear that people have when they first start dealing with specialty cheeses. It's a great product.
Oh, I'm so excited.
A lot of skill goes into it, into the making of these cheeses. So I want to make sure that people get an understanding and can appreciate how great this product is.
Yeah, exactly what these products are and exactly how artisanal they are.
That's right. They're very, very versatile too.
Okay, great.
So that's great.
Well, yeah, let's talk about cheese.
Okay, so let's start with the attributes of cheese. Let's talk about the types of cheese that we have.
Okay.
Normally we use the milk from either cow, sheep, goat. Sometimes we have water buffalo.
Oh, really?
And
I think I've had buffalo mozzarella.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's right.
So
the Italian buffalo mozzarella, and also sometimes we've sold yak milk cheese.
Yak milk?
Yeah,
I've never had that.
Yeah, from the Himalayas, in fact. Really interesting cheese. But another type of cheese that you can get from these milks is a blue cheese, and I brought an example along of that tonight, so we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
Okay. So normally it's cow, sheep, goat, and blue that we talk about.
And what are some of the general differences between, say, a cow's milk cheese and a sheep's milk cheese?
Well, you've got differences in fat content, protein content, as well as the flavour.
Okay.
So these are things that you have to look at. You know, how adventurous are your guests? Do you really want to give them a really, really strong goat cheese?
Okay.
You know, these are the things you think of. That's why I'm there. That's why I'm there to assist the customer.
Okay.
So that if you come to me, you've got a dinner party coming. I've got guests that I've been working with for 20 years now.
Oh, really?
In fact, they introduced their children to cheese, and now they're coming in for theirs.
Oh my gosh, that's generational.
Yeah, so that's great. That's a very satisfying part of my job.
Oh, that's fantastic. And it's good to know that you can go right in and talk to you. If you don't really know, you don't have to just pick blindly and be like, hey, here's the people I have coming, like, what should I do? So
yeah, that's
really
right.
nice.
I'm down on the bottom left-hand side of the store. We want it to be a destination department in that store, you know, so, and we've certainly got the products to uphold that, because this is one of the most exciting products in the store.
Oh, yeah.
As far as I'm concerned.
Well, me too.
Yeah.
You got me right along with you.
Okay.
Alrighty.
So, what I want to talk about is these different cheeses and their relevance to your dinner party plate.
Okay.
Yeah?
All right.
And what you have to look at is, do you want an aged cheese or a fresh cheese? You know, bear this in mind that they differ in flavour and texture, obviously.
Okay.
And so, if you want a raw milk cheese, you have to have a cheese that's aged over 60 days. Now, what's the difference between raw milk and pasteurised milk? Raw milk cheese hasn't been pasteurised, obviously, so it hasn't had that heat treatment. So in the pasteurisation process, it kills off not only bad bacteria, but it kills off some of the good bacteria too that really enhances the flavour of the cheese.
Right.
But that's the law in this country, so we abide by it, obviously.
Okay.
But we do have some really, really good raw milk cheeses that are well worth trying. And I must say that in the American cheese industry, the specialty cheese industry, in my time in America, I've seen it grow 1,000%.
Really?
We now have
fresh milk.
It's worth mentioning that last weekend the American Cheese Society had their conference in Idaho, Des Moines, Idaho, and they had the cheese championships there, and there were 1,143 entrants.
Oh my goodness.
Different cheeses,
Yeah.
by different cheesemakers and different cheeses. And I brought one of those that got a gold medal we'll be talking about later on
I
tonight.
can't wait.
Okay.
That's exciting.
Now, as far as fat and protein contents and the qualities of the milk, that's very important in the making of cheese.
Because that's not something I think about, and I don't know if that's something you think about, but yeah, please.
Well,
let us all
fat
know
is
about
rich. Fat is rich, and that provides the flavour. So
Okay.
you know, you've got to bear in mind that that's a big part of the cheese, the fat content. Okay.
it. Okay.
What else can I tell you about these cheeses? Don't be frightened of them. If there's anything you don't know and you want to come and see me and we talk and help you choose the cheeses, and over a period of time what I've done with my customers is build up their confidence, and so their repertoire of cheeses has really grown enormously.
Oh, I'm sure.
And there's nothing better, you know, than being a good host to a dinner party. That's what you want to do, don't you?
That's true.
You want your guests to say, wow, I really love this.
Exactly.
You know, and so I've got customers who came in when they first came to see me. I used to do a lot of classes as well for the customers so they could get a lot of information. And at first they would come and say, I don't like goat cheese, I don't like blue cheese. Over a period of time, starting off with the milder cheeses, working it up,
Okay.
they love all the cheeses.
And now they love
The
everything.
goat cheeses, the sheep's milk cheeses, the blue cheeses. Some of them very, very strong, but they like them.
Spend enough time with you, Edward.
Because you acquire the
You're gonna
taste.
like all
you
the
see.
cheeses.
Can I tell you, as a child, I hated cheese.
Did you really?
Oh yeah, hated.
Who knew?
But that's life, you know. That's the way it goes.
Now you know so much about, you know, more than I have forgotten.
Well,
Or you've forgotten more than I know.
that's what comes with working with the product, you know, for over 20 years now.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
And it's something that, you know, as I said, new cheesemakers have created new cheeses every day. There are literally thousands of cheeses in the world today.
All right.
Really good quality. So let's start talking about some of the cheeses that I brought
Yes, I'm
along
excited.
tonight.
All right.
Okay. We'll go with the 8-month Manchego. I'll hold it up so maybe you can get a shot of that. Down there. So this is the 8-month Manchego, which is raw milk, so that means you've got a more intense flavour.
Okay.
There we are.
Oh, there we go.
Whoops.
Ooh,
That's
we're
it.
gonna almonds.
Tipping on to the... And this is quince paste.
Okay.
This is a typical accompaniment to Spanish cheeses, sheep's milk, goat milk and cow's milk. They like to have quince paste, it's called membrillo. And here we have some Marcona almonds, beautiful.
Oh, my favorite almond.
Have a
They're
taste
so-
of one of those.
Oh, I
Try
love
those.
these.
Have a piece of the cheese with it.
Okay.
See how I've cut it? A thin slice like that.
Okay.
Dina, have a piece of cheese.
Here comes Dina.
Can't leave you out, can we?
All right.
There you are.
Thank you.
And then have a bite of the cheese first, taste it on its own, and then try it with the membrillo.
Okay.
Okay, and have it with an almond.
So I've got my almond.
You
What's
got
it called? Membrillo?
Membrillo.
Okay.
So when you taste the cheese,
Okay.
it's important to remember that as you've got it in your mouth, it will actually warm up a little bit, so the fat content will release the flavour.
Okay. And that's the coating in your
And
mouth.
that grows in your mouth, the
Okay.
flavour. And then there's several dimensions of flavour that will come through. The last of which, with this one, unusually enough, is a peppery aftertaste.
Okay.
There's no pepper
See
in the
that.
cheese. There's a slight heat that will start to come. So once you've tasted the cheese for its true value, then you can start with the accompaniment.
Okay.
Have the membrillo with it. Maybe a Marcona almond.
And those all go so well together.
And then you've got the difference in the flavours,
Yeah.
the different textures going on, the smoothness of the membrillo, the sweetness of the membrillo. You've got the crunchiness of the almonds. and that great nutty flavour.
That's fantastic.
That's a good match.
These two together, oh my goodness, this quince paste and this cheese, I'm telling you, you'll wish you were here.
So the Spanish really know what they're doing, you know.
Yeah, they do.
In Europe, France has a name for the specialty cheeses that, you know, everybody knows about French cheeses, and yes, they're great. But Spain has an enormous catalogue of really great cheeses. We've got a lot. We've got a lot in our department of Spanish cheeses.
This is fantastic. All right. So you were talking about that pepperiness. So there's no pepper in it. So where's that heat coming from?
That's all part of the structure of the milk, the art of the cheese maker with the bacteria that they use, the method of making the cheese. Just like wine where you have terroir, you have the same with the milk. Okay? So the flavour of the milk comes from the breed of animal.
Okay.
The territory that the animal is feeding in, the actual feed that the animal has, the climate, is it very dry, is it rainy, all affects the soil, what's the soil like, the strength of the soil, the mineral content of the soil, all these things, just like wine,
right,
affects the cheese.
All come together to make that.
All come together with the skill of the cheese maker, to know the type of bacteria to use for the cheese that he wants to make, the end result of it. Whether he uses animal rennet, vegetable rennet, all this thing has a bearing on the end result. And of course how long you want to age it for as well.
Okay.
So the 8-month raw milk manchego has a much fuller flavour than the 6-month or the 3-month.
Okay. And what does that mean? So when they're aging,
yes,
what happens?
That's actually, the cheese is drying out. So it's losing moisture, which is water and fat.
Okay.
So the longer you age it, what you in fact is get a weight loss on it as well.
So it's getting smaller.
It's getting slightly smaller.
And getting, but more flavorful as well. Like
yes,
firm and
indeed.
flavorful.
And then what happens, you've got various things that happen. You've got changes in the protein that's happening. You've got changes whereby the sugar, the lactose, is actually eaten by the acid in the cheese. So the acid eats the sugar. And that's where they get the pH levels from and the judging of, you know, the type of cheese, should it be in refrigeration for a certain amount of time, etc., etc. It's all gauged on the pH level.
Oh, okay.
And when you get people who are lactose intolerant, if they come along and see us, we've got cheeses that they could eat safely because the lactose has in fact gone from
the lactose is completely gone.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't even know that, right?
No.
Oh, that's interesting.
And people vary on their tolerance of lactose. People vary on their tolerance. So some people can't eat any type of cheese. Some can eat cow's milk. Some can eat sheep's milk only. Some can eat goat's milk only.
Okay.
It's a personal thing. The most common one is that people can't take cow's milk. That seems to be the.
But then goat and sheep are okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
That's good to know.
So let's move on to
Ooh, let's. I can't wait to try another
cheese. As I said, there was the conference in Idaho last weekend at the American Cheese Society. I couldn't get there this year, but I was there last year, and it's a really terrific event. It was at Rhode Island last year.
Oh, fantastic. So a little bit easier to
A
go
lot of
to
us
than
were
Idaho.
there, yeah. And fantastic. And they had this cheese competition. And all the cheese makers in America send their best products there, you know, the ones that might be new creations, the ones that have previously won awards, newcomers to the industry, they send their cheeses in. And there are a lot of categories, you know, normally split up by milk and age and that sort of thing.
I can only imagine.
And the one that I brought along tonight, it's called Ledyard, and it's from Meadowwood Farms. This is the label here.
It's a Ledyard.
Yeah, Ledyard. And it's a sheep's milk cheese, and it's a soft ripened cheese. I've got it down here.
There you go.
That's a soft ripened cheese, and around the outside you have a grape leaf that has been macerated in a beer.
Oh, okay.
Okay? Let me...
And beer, what kind of beer?
There we are.
There we go.
And what I brought with it today is this nice summer fruit that we have in our produce department is pluot, which is a cross between a plum and an apricot.
Oh, that's fun.
There we are. And you'll find that the sweetness of this pluot really complements the cheese. So let me open this up. This is very soft. As I said, it's a soft ripened cheese, so it's going to be lovely and unctuous in the middle.
Yeah.
I'll cut into
very
that.
Interesting. I know people get scared of these kind of cheeses.
There we are. Let me open that up.
Look at that.
Have you got a good shot of that?
Yeah. Here. Look at that. That's
Look at
gorgeous.
that. Running out of there. That's lovely.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And then what I'll do, I've got a lump of this pluot. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll kind of spoon this on here for you.
Oh, perfect. What a treat today, let me tell you.
There we are.
I don't know if I've ever had a pluot. We'll send it
Oh,
away.
it's excellent. I love to buy them. I love to buy them.
Mmm. Delicious.
Isn't that nice?
Mm-hmm. And I don't think I've ever tried
Dina?
cheese with like stone fruits or, you know,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
really interesting.
I recommend those during the summer.
Well, you should.
Peaches.
That's fine. I don't know.
Peaches, white peaches.
Hi everybody.
There we are.
Hey, Dina.
Oh boy.
Dina gets
What a
to
treat.
eat. This is a treat. This is exciting.
And as you can see, the leaf around the outside is pretty soft, so you can cut through it easily. You can eat it if you wish.
Yeah, you cut right through that. No problem. And I love how it just oozed out of there. It's like you can just dip into it, you know?
Now, obviously, the life on this cheese, being soft ripened, is going to be a lot less than the life on the Manchego.
Okay.
But we'll talk about that a bit later
Because this
on.
wouldn't go through the same aging process.
No,
Okay.
this is much younger, much younger. But this is when it's at its best, when it's like this. Yeah,
Perfect.
really is, and you can't help liking this.
No, I love it. It's fantastic.
So let me put that on the plate there. You can see there. Now, leaves are used quite a lot in cheese making, in the same way that ash is used.
Okay.
Ash made from vegetable charcoal normally, and it's a kind of an aesthetic thing really.
Oh, really? It doesn't
But,
add too much to the flavor? Or?
Sometimes it can, sometimes it can add a bit of fruitiness to a cheese.
Okay.
I mean, it's really
Well, that was,
It's
I thought
really
it was going to be a
a
stinky cheese, like a stinky kind of funky cheese, but it was actually really mild and very pleasant.
Yeah.
It was very fantastic.
that's right, and that's why I say, you know, don't be off-put by the look of the thing, or even the
know.
smell. Sometimes it's like the bark being worse than its bite.
Now,
You know, sometimes
speaking
it
of-
smells really strong, but the flavour is fantastic.
And one of the cheeses that people are most scared of is blue cheese, right?
Yes,
And you get that a
that's
lot?
right. That's right. But you can look at a cheese and sort of decide to yourself, well, I don't like that, just because it looks strong.
Right.
You see all these blue markings in it, and you think that's going to be really strong.
Right.
When in fact, it's not. Let me just wipe down this board a moment, so as we can get the cheese onto
Okay.
the board, because what I'm going to do, I'm going to in fact make a salad with this tonight.
Oh, perfect.
I brought along some nice spring greens here,
Oh, I'm so excited.
and then I'm going to one of the things this time of year that's great in the produce department is the tomato selection that we have. We've got some here, see, a nice selection of tomatoes there.
Yeah, these are gorgeous. And some of those heirlooms.
That's right, these are the heirlooms
they
here.
turn really funny, but have really unique flavors.
So what I'm
One of our
going to do,
heroes, if you would.
I'm going to
Hero of summer.
make this little salad.
Okay.
Very easy
Let's do
to do. just basically 4 or 5 ingredients. So I've got the spring greens there.
Okay.
I've also got some candied walnuts here, caramelized walnuts, and the heirloom tomato.
Okay.
So I'm going to slice the heirloom tomato just thinly, like this. On the top there. And then I shall fold all these in
Okay.
a bit later. So you're going to have the contrast of flavours, the slightly sharp flavour, acidic flavour of the tomato. We've got the candied walnuts here, which I'm going to just cut a little bit. Don't want
a giant chunk of candied
small.
walnut in one of your bites, right?
That's right. Just a little bit there. Put that in there.
Perfect. So even I can do this.
Yeah. And now, here we have the cheese. So this is Born d'Ambert. Let me tell you about this.
Born d'Ambert. Okay.
This comes from the Auvergne. Okay. This comes from the Auvergne in central France. And it's a raw milk cheese. It's a really good value cheese. A lot of the blue cheeses are inclined to be, because it's a more expensive operation, it takes aging, etc., etc. They can be a higher price, but this is really, really good value. I always recommend this to my customers. It's a great flavour, it's not too strong, but it is pronounced. It's sweet on the aftertaste.
Yeah, it looks really soft and creamy.
You can see, look at the texture of it.
Oh, that's
and
great.
The blue is Penicillium roquefortium they use. That's the bacteria that they use for the blue cheese. And let me just get that off of there. That is a bit of... Now just kind of break it up with a knife. Doesn't need to be too small.
Well, I love it. It looks really creamy. And kind
People
of
say come in and they want to crumble the blue cheese. Doesn't necessarily have to be crumbled. You just break it up into sort of manageable pieces.
Okay.
And then put it into the salad. Here. I'm going to put it all in, and then I'm going to just fold it in with my hands. There we are. Let's bring that over there. Let's just lift this in so as it's blended in.
It looks really nice with those like chunks of blue cheese and with the
And the
tomatoes.
tomato,
Yeah.
or tomato as you say.
Oh.
You might have noticed I'm not from these parts, by the way. The more astute among you might have noticed. I actually come from England, but I've been living in America with my family now for over 20 years, 22 years. So.
Fantastic. Well, that accent sure stays with you. Huh?
Yes, it has, hasn't it? I suppose it's because I wasn't a youngster when I came here, so it stayed.
Yeah, so it stays
Now,
with you.
watch.
Well, we enjoy it.
I'm just going to put a touch of this dressing on. Now, when I dress a salad, I just want the leaves lightly coated. It's not a sauce, so I can't stand it when
There's too much
the
dressing
salad
on the
is
salad.
dominated by the dressing. You just want to coat the leaves. And so every flavour can come through. It's not dominated by any one thing. There we are. So, there we have the salad with the Born d'Ambert.
Oh, looks so
Easily
good.
made. Flavour's
Super.
fantastic, can assure you. That was a organic balsamic vinaigrette that I used as a dressing. So that's really great salad.
And so quick.
Beautiful for
I could do that.
a summer dinner party.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so that's the
yeah,
three
what are
cheeses
some-
that we've used.
Okay.
Let's quickly talk about how to create an after-meal cheese plate. For 4 people, I would select 3 cheeses, normally a cow, sheep and a goat.
Okay.
For 6 people, I'd choose 4 cheeses. Cow, sheep, goat and blue. And then get a mixture of countries, different textures,
Okay.
yeah? Strong, mild. Get the biggest variety that you possibly can. And then you can have accompaniments with it, you know, some nice crackers that we've got here. Flatbreads, they go very well, the 365 flatbreads. Any of these goods, you know, you can serve fruit during the summer, stone fruits. During the winter you can do dried fruits and nuts. So there's
That makes
always
sense.
something,
Okay.
always something, and you can serve it with a crusty bread, and that's always welcome.
And then you have a little something for everyone at your party. Right?
Yeah, that's right, that's right.
Oh, sounds fantastic.
And it's easy to do, so there's no need to be sort of timid about it at all, because it is, all the work's done by the cheesemaker.
Right. And I guess the last thing we have to talk about is how to store cheese properly.
Yeah, well, the best thing, when people come and see me, a lot of our cheese is already wrapped in plastic because of the volume of business, but I operate from the service case, the full service case, where I cut and I wrap it in paper, cheese paper. And so if you come to me and ask me for some paper, when you get home and take the initial plastic wrapping off it, if you don't eat it all in one go, then, which you probably won't, I'll give you some paper. I'll give you some paper that you can wrap it, and you can keep it in the crisper in your refrigerator. And depending on whether it is a fresh cheese or an aged cheese, depends on how long you can keep it. But with an aged cheese, if you see a little bit of mould on the side, that's a natural thing because the cheese is alive. So you just trim off that mould.
You just trim it off.
Trim it off and then
No
eat the
big deal.
cheese. It's beautiful.
It's fine.
Beautiful stuff. Yeah, yeah.
So cheese paper, does that mean that there's more air getting to the cheese? Is
Yeah,
this like
you
a
don't wrap
thinner
it too
paper, or is
tight.
it
So
just paper?
you don't wrap it too tight exactly. So you've got some air in that paper, and the cheese is allowed to breathe. If you wrap it too tight, you're killing a live thing.
Okay, that makes sense.
Basically.
That
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah. And then there is this wrapping is available, bees wrap here.
Oh.
Right, that's a reusable food wrap. But if you come and see me in the cheese
can wash
department,
it.
I'll give you the paper that we use.
Okay,
Yeah.
so if you forget anything, you can always watch the show again on YouTube, or you can go see Edward at the Fresh Pond Store, Old
That's right.
Rocket Specialty Department. Thank you, Edward, so much for coming.
You're welcome. Nice to be here.
Everything was delicious, and now we're going to eat that salad. That
Yeah,
salad
why
was
not?
So, why not?
Dinner is served.
Oh, I'm excited to try that for Nam Bear. Next time, tune in. We're going to do a nice back-to-school special. Can you believe it's that time already? With the Somerville store. So we'll see you then. Thanks again.